Gavin Newsom is feeling the heat in a literal way at one of the worst times this could happen in his career. That Palisades fire that we were talking about a couple episodes ago has gotten so much worse, guys. The fires have expanded to multiple residential areas on the outskirts of LA. What's left looks like a war zone. It's insane.
I can't describe it. What was it like? I have no words for what I don't have any words for what it's like.
And it's not just conservatives. A lot of people are noticing the policy mistakes that led to how severe these fires were. And Gavin Newsom is not responding well. And this is all coming at a time when California is more red than it's been in decades. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell.
This area is closed.
Everything that we know and love is gone. Not just this house, my whole city gone, man. The whole thing, like everything, my whole neighborhood, everything that I grew up to love and know is burnt up.
As you can see, there's nothing left, and I've been here for about an hour and a half, and I don't want to leave. It's home. So.
Hey, let me know what you think, guys. Is this a byproduct of negligent policies, or is this the byproduct of climate change? And largely, there's not really much they could have done to make this any easier. 11 offed and 37 acres burned by California wildfires. Here's what to know about the 6 active fires in Los Angeles as of 10:20 p.m. last night on Friday. Palisades fire, 8% contained. The blazes burned through more than 21,000 acres in and around the Pacific Palisades and offed at least 2 people. Los Angeles Fire Department Chief Kirsten Cowley said the fire has destroyed more than 5,300 structures since Tuesday. The fire is now spreading towards Brentwood, where Getty Center is located. The Eaton fire is only 3% contained on the city's east side near Pasadena. The fire has offed at least 5 people and burned through 14,117 acres. More than 7,000 structures have been damaged or destroyed by this fire, officials said. Then there's the Kenneth fire, which they got half contained right now. The fire in Calabasas and the Hidden Hills area was first reported Thursday afternoon, has spread to 1,052 acres. A person was taken into custody Thursday afternoon on suspicion of arson in connection with the fire, but there was not enough evidence to charge them with the crime. You know they want to blame this on a person. You know they're going to be desperate to try to blame this on a person. CBI, California's version of the FBI, California Bureau of Investigation, I bet you they're going to be hunting up and down, trying to be able to blame this on an individual, all of this stuff, or on a group of people, man. Oh, dude. They got 98% of the Lydia fire contained since it emerged in the Antelope Valley on Wednesday afternoon. According to Cal Fire, it's burned through roughly 395 acres. So it sounds like they're doing better with the smaller fires, but the larger ones, obviously due to just the nature of these massive fires and the resources that they require, it sounds like these larger ones are kind of getting out of control, or at least are a lot more difficult to get in control. The Hearst fire is 70% contained. Near San Fernando, the fire has covered 771 acres. Then the Archer fire, 0% contained. The blaze broke out Friday morning in the Granada Hills northwest of downtown Los Angeles during what officials described as erratic winds. It's burned through about 19 acres so far. Check out our last video. I think it's Trump calls out Newsom for the California fires or something. We go into detail about the policy and the culture and environment around those policies that made these a lot worse. But more has come out since then. And of course, California right now is trying to shift the focus from policy decisions and negligent policy mismanagement over to climate change. But it's not working, and the residents aren't buying it.
There is a far majority of homes in the Palisades that people have lived in for 30 or 40 years. It's not all wealthy people. And these are people that are going to be wiped out. There's businesses that are going to be wiped out. And this is what really saddens and angers me and frustrates me, is that the city has a sacred duty and obligation to protect people's lives and livelihood. And when you don't have water in a fire hydrant, you've got to ask some real tough questions on how the hell this could happen.
But they don't want you to ask those questions. It's fire season again in California, and again, returning like the sunrise, politicians are blaming the extent of the fires on climate change. A representative example comes from Senator Bernie Sanders' X account, where he posts, 8 months since the area has seen rain. The scale of the damage and loss is unimaginable. Climate change is real, not a hoax. Donald Trump must treat this like the existential crisis that it is. If you watch my last video, guys, I saw this, and we go over all the mismanagement in the brush, and what did I say? I said they leave that stuff there and they don't touch it, so that way when the fires are this bad, they can come out and say climate change, everything is so bad because of climate change. Don't pay attention to our policies. It's climate change. Regardless of the cause, this is quite the striking image right here. This is what can happen when you don't clear the brush and have controlled burns or set up fire lines. Susan Shelley, California regulations only make wildfires worse. Well, who is Susan Shelley? She is an opinion columnist and editorial writer for the Southern California news group, 11 daily papers, including the Los Angeles Daily News, Orange County Register. So she sounds like she's a Californian conservative, all right? The problem in the Pacific Palisades is that the LADWP infrastructure couldn't move enough water to refill 3 1-million-gallon water tanks as fast as firefighters were able to use the water. Biden was claiming that they had shut off power to the pumps because they were worried about the power lines sparking more fires if those power lines themselves were ignited, right? But she calls them out, saying that the issue was not getting generators to the pumps in time. She said they got generators a lot earlier than Newsom conveyed to Biden before his press conference. In fact, the issue was the actual infrastructure itself being unable to handle the volumes of water they needed in order to continue fighting these fires. That wasn't the only issue relating to policy decisions. State to probe why Pacific Palisades Reservoir was offline and empty when the firestorm exploded. A large reservoir in the Pacific Palisades that is part of the Los Angeles water supply system was out of commission when the ferocious wildfire destroyed thousands of homes and other structures nearby, the Los Angeles Times found. The revelation comes amid growing questions about why firefighters ran out of water while battling the blaze, which ignited Tuesday during catastrophically high winds. The New York Times reported early Wednesday that numerous fire hydrants in higher elevation streets of the Palisades went completely dry, leaving crews struggling with low water pressure as they combated the flames. There's no excuse for this kind of mismanagement. This is insane. And sure, this is a good response. Governor Gavin Newsom on Friday ordered an independent investigation of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power over the loss of water pressure and empty Santa Ynez Reservoir, calling it deeply troubling. And that's good. He needs to come out with a serious response, but he also needs to come out with a level of personal responsibility, maybe an apology to the California people, and saying, hey, I take responsibility for this. This was my ship. California is my ship right now. And I feel like we have really let you guys down. And this is my game plan to make it up to you guys. And this is the game plan to try to right some of the ways that these policies have now harmed you. See, California has their budget locked down better than most other states, and if any state could afford to do this right now, it would be California. But they're just leaving their people out to dry while they're looking for a scapegoat, and no one is going to trust you. This could be a really good PR move, and this could be an opportunity for you to show your strength as a leader. And I do not think that the way Gavin Newsom is playing this out right now is at all accomplishing that, especially not when even the soccer moms of LA are not buying the climate change narrative, and they're coming at you expecting you to have answers about the policy failures that they saw in front of their face during this entire situation.
Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I?
He wasn't talking to the president. He lied in front of a camera, claiming that he was talking to the president when he wasn't even talking to the president, man.
Hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president?
He's walking around to make the call. He's tried 5 times. He's going to call this doesn't even make any sense. He's out in the middle of the street.
I'm not taking your call.
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. and it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm calling the president on an unsecured device to talk about secured emergency response to a natural disaster. Come on, man, get real. This dude was not calling the president, in my opinion. This woman was just a distraught Los Angeles mother. And he's saying, and she, dude, he says, I bet you she voted for him. How many times, right? I bet you during the recall she voted against it, right? And then he says, I'm doing everything I can. I will do whatever I can. And then she shoots, but you're not. How is that not an absolute ending final blow to his career? I can only imagine what Gavin Newsom's approval numbers are going to be at the end of all this. My whole point is, Gavin Newsom could see major support from everybody, including conservatives right now, if he came out accepting some level of personal responsibility, not in the sense of this is his fault, but in the sense of, hey, I run this ship. You know, I'm the leader here. Like, this happened under my watch. You guys, I'm taking you under my wing, and we're gonna get this right. I'm gonna make this right. This saving face stuff, nobody respects that stuff out here in Western culture. California Governor Gavin Newsom has rejected criticism of his handling of the devastating Los Angeles wildfires, saying he's not interested in politicizing a natural disaster. People aren't trying to politicize the natural disaster. People are trying to discuss the nuances of how your policies and the clear policy failures have played a role in the severity of the disaster.
Do the right thing. This is an emergency. We can do all this dance, and we have differences of opinion as it relates to all kinds of issues and values, and that's fair game, and that's important. That dialectic's important. But having this kind of friction when it comes to emergency response, with emergency responders, these heroes, 12,000 that are on the front lines right now, taking care of people, making sure people are still alive. We're still doing emergency maintenance, evacuation. We're still concerned about flare-ups.
This all sounds well and good, but how is anything he's saying related to anything? What does any of his rhetoric have to do with the constructive policy critiques that people are trying to discuss for next time? Discussions centered around how his leadership or lack thereof was involved or related to policy decisions that have made the severity of these fires worse is not at all distracting from the emergency response. He thinks that attempting to save face through these omissions and these framing devices are somehow going to help his favorability numbers at the end of all this, but I think it's going to do the exact opposite. And guys, when you consider this 2024 map of the counties that went for Trump in California of all places, and then you consider the Senate races that were so close to going red in California, man, this really seems like this whole situation with these fires is the ending blow to Gavin Newsom's career. As we speak right now, the fires worsen in the Palisades and the evacuation orders expand. Yo, guys, corrupt-ass Fannie Willis's life is falling apart in front of our eyes. Come enjoy it with me. Right up top, right over here. Hey, check out why Kash Patel is terrifying the deep state. Down below, right here. I hope I took a little bit of a different take than a lot of people are taking on this, and we're a little more in-depth than you might have expected from your daily news updates. Hey, thank you so much. Have a great one, guys.